Did you know that you don't have to pay taxes? You could move to another country and pay 0 taxes legally. You might have already seen my interview with Wealthy Expat, who does exactly this for you. They've helped over 500 crypto investors and entrepreneurs like Iman Gaji lower their taxes down to 0% legally. And you could do this too in as little as 2 weeks. Wealthy Expat will hold your hand through the entire process, setting you up in a tax-free country like Dubai with the help of tax experts, lawyers, and accountants. If you're interested in paying 0% taxes, make sure to book a free call with Wealthy Expat using my link in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this insightful interview. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Leia Heilpern Show. Today is going to be a great one. I am joined with former YouTuber, now Rumbler, live streamer, and more commonly known for his free-spirited and supposedly controversial opinions about men and women and society at large. Sneako, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. Free-spirited makes it sound like I'm in my hoe phase.
Oh my
like
God,
I'm a girl boss, CEO, queen. But that was a good introduction. I heard you talking before. You do sound like a newswoman, like you're going to read the weather. This is much better, though. It's good that you switched up your journalism and now you're doing this. Yeah,
I was doing journalism, but then I was like, it felt a little bit too matrixy for me. I couldn't deal with like being tied around the neck to like the news. So now I'm a bit more free-spirited, but not in the
not
girl
in that
boss.
way. In a good way.
In a good way, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to finally speak with you. We met randomly at a smoothie shop. I ran into you. I go there all the time, and then you randomly came up to me. I had been reacting to your videos for a while, so I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to. I just didn't expect to see you. It was random. I didn't know you lived here, especially in that same area. And keep doing your street interviews. I like reacting to that. It's easy content. Anybody out there watching, make some NPC street interviews. Yeah. It's easy. I love reacting to it. It's the most fun videos too, so keep doing it.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. They're actually one of the most uncomfortable videos to do. I mean, maybe you probably have a different experience when you go out, but because I'm like smiley and friendly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Well, they think that I'm like going to be on their side, and then I switch it up and I play devil's advocate.
And switch, yeah.
And then they give me a look, and we both just know that I've like punked them.
Like you're not one of us.
Yeah.
I kind of get that too because I'm a minority, so they're like especially you did one where it's like he's violent towards minorities and women and like minorities. So I get that the NPCs was like, oh, he's one of us because he's not a straight white man. But then they see, I kind of like making them uncomfortable and making them feel stupid. You feel bad. You're like, what about that? I'm like, nah, you're dumb.
Yeah, no, you do it way
Dummy.
better. That's amazing.
Well, no one can really react to it because I'm already giving the reaction that somebody else would give in the interview. Yours is like a great way for me to like fall out of my chair, call him a bot or NPC.
That's amazing. But you've recently been banned. So like talk me through that. You've been taken off YouTube. Where have you been banned? How did that happen? Did you have any warnings or any strikes?
The craziest one was I had 3 strikes, and a lot of people are speculating to why they think it was some misogyny or some content. But in fact, it was what they don't talk about. And it's really alarming to me that so many commentary channels, so many people are like celebrating the ban or talking about it or speculating why. It's very clear about it. I had COVID misinformation, election misinformation, and election misinformation.
Wait. What the hell?
The 2020 election. Well, I mean, is this on YouTube?
Yeah, so let's just not.
So you don't even want to say, and you have to push back to say that. I mean, we don't know what your opinions are, but that's why I got one of the strikes, and the last one was cyberbullying. So 2 misinformation and 1 cyberbullying. It had nothing to do with mentioning other creators. It had nothing to do with being too wild or too crazy. 2 misinformation strikes, which should be alarming enough. The fact that you can get deleted for saying the wrong thing, not even in terms of insulting, but just the wrong opinion, the wrong is insane. And what people don't talk about at all, they think that I was just banned on YouTube. I was banned on TikTok, Twitter. Twitter, I'm gonna get back hopefully, but Twitch was the craziest one because Twitch, they just banned me because they didn't align with my ideology. I didn't violate any terms of service. I had never streamed on Twitch. After I was banned on YouTube, I started streaming there. And within a week, I was banned. And they emailed me saying it was ban evasion, but I had never made an account before.
Wow.
I appealed it, and then they said, nope, you can't come on. So basically, it's just they probably were watching what I was doing. They said, no, you're not going to. They banned me before I even violated any terms of service because like I was probably going to.
So you don't think, obviously, these aren't legitimate, like there's no real
There's absolutely no real reason. Twitter, it was because I challenged somebody to a fight. TikTok was just repeated guidelines. But it doesn't matter. You don't really need an account. It was a bad decision for me to even make a Twitch. I have still have over 5 billion views on TikTok just from people posting the clips. So it's fine. You don't need an account. I'm still there.
I first saw you actually on TikTok. I saw you doing the la 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 with the eyes. That's what I saw. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's what
you don't have them.
I don't have them.
Okay.
Why would I have them? So these are eyelashes.
Yeah, the printed on CVS extensions that go. They look like shades. They look like curtains on top of your head. They look like you make your eyelids heavy. I don't understand how girls do that. Sometimes they touch your eyebrows literally. And I always look at this, and for some reason, girls think it's really. I don't know why they do it. I've never. It's really distracting. I can't look away from it. That's what I think every time they blink. It's like a Disney cartoon. I can hear the cartoon sound effect, and that does well. Yeah.
Well, on that point, so all the kind of content that you talk about and Fresh and Fit and all this sorts of stuff about women, the way that you speak about women is so interesting because I agree with you, but you speak about women in a way that like is actually quite new to me because the eyelashes, you know, predicting what women will say. Like, I don't know girls like that. Like, that's why I'm so fascinated. I feel like you guys think every single woman out there is this archetype of, you know, the fake eyelashes, boss bitch kind of vibe. I don't know.
No, that's the social media world. So that does really what girls who are obsessed with clout or are chronically on TikTok or Instagram or they exist for that. How many hours a day do you think you're on TikTok?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. But there's some girls that will wake and fall asleep to TikTok. And if they're obsessed with that, they have OnlyFans. Girls who are in that world all think a certain way and they're very predictable and it's very easy to talk about. But on my live stream, for example, I have a conspiracy night. I get into money, what's going on behind the scenes, crypto. I talk about Bitcoin, what happened with the FTX, what the election. I like to talk about the truth. And that's why I really think they banned me because I was funneling people in from TikTok talking about women and predicting simple-minded, you know, that type of content does really well to reach the matrix people, to get the normies. Everybody on TikTok knows me, which I realize not a lot of people know. None of them know about Rumble. My live stream numbers have decreased since coming over. It's starting to improve, but I am known a lot in the short form content space because I know how to get attention. So when I react to like NPCs, I scream or like fall out of the chair. When I'm reacting or like talking to women, it's like like just simple jokes that everyone goes, ha ha, he's making fun of the girl. And then I try to funnel them in here and tell you the truth and red pill you. So it's just a good way to get a lot of traction because nobody's going to like want to go on TikTok and see somebody talk about the FTX or Bitcoin dipping to 16. No one cares. You have to get their attention.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. So, okay, why did you think they banned you? What was the big situation, the big conspiracy here?
I think it was waking up a lot of people. I was growing so fast and I was calling out a lot of people. And I think I pointed out a flaw in the system and how I think I just exposing the brainwashing that's going on with Gen Z and with the millennials. And you could see, I send you a graphic of the 8 people who have all made hit piece videos on me. They literally look exactly the same. I don't know if I'll show you right now. I think it was a lot of reasons. And I was just pointing out on Twitch, for example, you could sit in a hot tub and be naked and like bounce your boobs off the side of and just sit there and collect money. And
can you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Have you never been on Twitch?
I've never been on Twitch in my life.
Twitch is absolute. It's pretty much, it's disgusting. And they market it towards kids because it's video games. I can't believe. Yeah, it's supposed to be free to get, but girls will literally sit. I can't believe you've never heard about this. Will sit half naked in a tub, bikini on, and just sit there and like they'd be like, "Oops, let me get the folder from the back," and they walk, and then their butts in this frame and stuff like that. And they encourage simp behavior. They want you to be a simp, and you know the word simp is banned on Twitch.
Is it? So I actually had no idea that the word simp was banned on Twitch. I'm against all types of censorship, even when the speech offends me. So this is why I want to tell you about an alternative internet which is being built called TommyNet. It's a decentralized parallel internet where anyone in the world, regardless of the government restrictions, can access the TommyNet web browser. Basic human rights like freedom of speech, privacy, and freedom of information is at the heart of what I discuss on this podcast and Tommy's principles. Now let's get back to finding out why the word simp was banned.
It's banned. You can get permabanned for saying the word simp because their whole clientele are simps. They want you to be weaker. They want you to be dumber so that you stay and you give all your money to this website. If you have strong men, they're not going to come back and watch gaming videos and hot tub people. They're going to do something else with their life. But to have everybody programmed and watching this mindless drone content forever, you have to be weak and stupid. So I was starting to wake people up. I was starting to inspire people. I was screaming and I was like telling people similar stuff to what you're talking about, how they're trying to masculinize women and feminize men, I was exposing a lot of that nature, and it was becoming a problem. I was growing so fast. I had 1 million subscribers on my main channel before I started streaming. And then when I started streaming, my second channel grew from 150,000 to 900,000 in 3 months. All the views on TikTok, and people were coming in, and I was just able to roast all these people, and every single commentary channel was upset at me, and I could just make one live stream and like just go back and forth between their videos. I feel like I was starting to like break through the programming on YouTube and on these mainstream platforms, and they had to do something about it. Especially when you start getting that type of attention, then you start talking about the election and about COVID and about like vaccines and stuff like that. You might need to censor that word.
Magic medicines.
On the magic medicines, you become a problem, and they need to paint this picture of you. And so all these commentary channels who pretend to be about free speech and who pretend to be about the truth, they'll make it that I'm a incel, misogynistic person, when I'm really talking about stuff that's way bigger than just men and women.
What's really fascinating is that you're so young and like you're awake to all of this. I don't understand how you're awake to it. And you've been talking about this stuff since you were even younger, right? Like when you were like a teenager, you've been making videos.
Since I was 14. So they deleted all of that. All my strikes were on my second channel, and my main channel that I was just doing videos on, I had been doing since I was 14, had no strikes, and they removed all of it. Not only did they ban my main channel, they banned my second channel, my third channel that had no strikes, and even any fan channel that I had no association with. Just somebody with Sneako in the channel, banned, permaban, and they just said violating community guidelines, and they didn't. They just wanted to get rid of me completely. But look, these are I wanted to show you this because I thought it was extremely funny. These are 8 people, and you can put the graphic up here. 8 people who have all made hit piece videos on me. And this is what I'm talking about. When you kind of break through the code, and they get mad because I make fun of their appearance, but the reason I make fun of your appearance is because you all look exactly the same. Yeah. I can look at you and tell you what you think about the booster shot, who you voted for, the fact that you have gender pronouns in your bio, your opinion on crypto, or how the gym is a waste of time. You probably take antidepressants. And when I can figure that out just by looking at you, it becomes a problem, because then people see, oh, maybe I don't need to be a weak soy boy simp watching hot tub gamers all day.
Yeah, no, it's insane. They literally all look the same. And
exactly the same.
They all look like they don't take care of themselves. They all look weak. They all look like women, to be honest. Fat women, unattractive women. That's how they
look like trans women.
Yeah, they do.
But the funny part is they're all commentary channels, and they've literally made documentaries about me. You think I'm exaggerating? There's like 3 hour, 4 hour, every single. It was getting to the point where I was live streaming every day. They'd try to paint me as a misogynist, an incel. They would go back to my childhood. They would cross analyze, and then they would tweet stuff like, I can't believe I had to watch so much garbage content to someone give me props. Like, oh my God, thank you for doing a good service and watching all this garbage. Why were you watching hours of garbage content? Imagine investing that much time into something that you supposedly hate. It makes no sense. But yeah, I've always been watching and trying to get to the truth since I was a little kid. I've been really keen to bullshit. And similar to you, I wanted to be a journalist at one point, but then everybody in that school was kind of talking about the same stuff. They like Huffington Post, blah, blah, blah.
And they're all woke.
It's all woke. They train you in school. The journalism majors in school train you to be a woke journalist. Correct. It's like, I don't want to go. If I'm trying to seek truth, then there's no way that everybody's going to have the same ideology. So I wanted to do it myself. And my frame of reference, or my philosophy with journalism or with seeking truth, is seek truth through funny. That's what I have in my bio. I've always related to people, and I've always attained the idea that the truth is what's funny. If you can have everybody on the same page, if you're in a room of people, if you could bring your self-esteem down to one level, then everybody's in agreement on something, and you found some level of truth. Like when you are boosting my self-esteem by saying the free-spirited Sneako, and I say, it sounds like I'm in my hoe phase. It's like bringing down self-esteem again, and then we can have a discussion about it. And I think that's the best way to communicate and connect with people. I think stand-up comedians can put the complicated ideas of the world, if you can condense that into a joke, it's something that sticks in my head forever. I remember Louis C.K., for example, had this joke about, and even Jordan Peterson talked about it. Louis C.K. had a joke about everybody going out, Tiger Woods and Charlie Sheen and these celebrities for sleeping with a lot of women and cheating on their wives. And like, you can't believe you would do that, Tiger Woods. It's like you would never know what it's like to be Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, he hits the 9th hole and then he has a busload of Swedish women waiting for him. And that really put into context, like all these people writing articles are like saying, I can't believe you have no idea what it's like. And that, I always remember those, and it sticks in my head and reminds me what reality is.
But even making videos at 14 is so young. You must have had something which triggered you in a way, or you must have had like a moment or like a red pill moment which made you think, I actually need to, ask questions. Like, none of this makes sense. You must have had a moment or something.
The red pill moment was maybe always being told in school that something was wrong with me, that I was crazy, I had ADHD or something like that. The teachers always insisting that I was a bad person. And then really like deep down knowing that I'm not bad, or knowing that my intentions were pure. If I know that my intentions were good, which they usually always are, if I'm trying to make somebody laugh or I'm trying to, then I know I'm not a bad person. I think if your intentions are in the wrong place, then you deserve criticism. But I was always getting criticized for like, but I was just trying to be funny. I don't want to do my homework. Like there's nothing, I'm not a bad person because I don't want to do my homework. It's just, there's a better use of my time. How are you going to tell me what to do with my time? Or they'd shame me for not paying attention in church or in class. Like, but church is really boring. I'm sitting there, kneeling, sitting down, doing the same songs every day, listening to somebody who doesn't know anything about life, who has no life experience, tell me a sermon every single day when you've never had a wife. Like, why should I listen to you? And asking questions or challenging ideas that were told that you're supposed to believe, people called me a bad person for when I was very young. And I just chose to not believe them and chose to believe my intentions rather than somebody else deciding what my fate was.
What about your parents? Did they sort of just go along with the usual thing, or did they inspire you to ask more questions?
They are part of the matrix, but they're starting to question their realities more. And I helped them when I was younger, questioning a lot of those things. And even at this point, my dad is starting to send me stuff about the FTX trading and about how they're money laundering in Ukraine and how they're funneling money from crypto scams into the Democratic Party to push the liberal agenda. He's sending me stuff about the World Economic Forum and about the globalist agenda that's going on, about how the CCP is working with TikTok to brainwash America. He's like, stuff like that. I'm like, yo, this is pretty base. And at first he was like, no, go to school, do that. Like he was really matrix ideas, which is natural for a parent because a parent knows that that's the safest route for their child. It's way riskier, and your parents are probably the same way, or the people around you are probably the same way. When you wanted to leave journalism to do your own thing, like, no, to get a safe job, stay in the news. Of course, it's going to be, and that's not bad advice for most people that will work. It's harder to break out of that and do your own thing. So I understand why they wanted me to do that, but also I was shamed a lot, and especially the last 2 years, I'm sure a lot of people watching can understand the amount of guilt that a lot of people felt for questioning what was happening was insane. And all those people just went right back, like the 8 feminist soy boy looking people were the people that giving you dirty looks in the grocery store, you know? And then everybody just forgets about it. We all go back to normal. It didn't really end. We just stopped. The programming stopped. They stopped telling you in the news that it was a big deal, so everyone just moves on to the next thing. Now they have Ukraine in their bio. They have BLM in their bio. They gave up. And nobody even critically thinks about that anymore. We're so outraged. We live in an outraged world that we move from one thing to the next. And we're at a point where we really need to sit and reflect about what happened in the last 2 years. The fact that everybody can flip a switch that quick, be so outraged, shame you for wanting to spend time with your grandma, go home for Christmas, and then completely move on to the next thing. And a lot of you watching will feel the same thing. If you questioned anything, if you didn't want to follow the agenda, if you wanted to live the way you wanted to live, they shamed the fuck. They called you a terrible person. They said, you are killing my family by walking outside. Seriously. Now, when you say that, it sounds insane, but that's what happened. And we need to spend time to really think about how quickly we can all be manipulated by the media.
Yeah, it's so insane. The amount of people wearing masks and the social pressure and the confidence and the courage that it actually takes to not wear a mask. Like I was in London during the whole lockdown and everybody on the train was wearing a mask and I would sit there without a mask. And that is really difficult. Like that is so difficult because the social pressure, the pressure to conform is unbelievable. And I think you're right, it's incredible. It's always the same people. They look the same. They have BLM, they have the flag, they have all the flags in their bios, the vaccines. It's insane how it's all the same people. But what was it like in New York? Because I know New York is pretty woke.
It was pretty similar to London. I went to London during the pandemic a couple of times too, and I was on the tube, and even then one guy, I was just no mask. I don't care. Like
that's what I'm saying.
People give me dirty looks and stuff like that. And one guy came and he gave me a mask with a bunch of gay pride flags on it and insisted. I was just okay. And I was traveling.
Did you wear it?
I would.
You wore it, Sneako.
I did.
Why?
Because then it was getting pressure, and there were even police. There were police coming giving you fines, and also I'm a foreigner, so if I get a fine or something like that, I go to jail. Then I gotta get.
I'll let you off on the foreigner.
The foreigner thing, like it's not okay.
Like I'm more careful here. I don't want to get deported, so I'm more.
I don't want to get deported, but I didn't fully do it. I did the chin one, So he was nice about it. He wasn't being a dick. He's like, oh here, and it was like the hearts with the I'm like, oh, this guy cares. I'll make him happy. And I did the chin one, thumbs up, and he's like, "Ugh," and by the time he saw that I wasn't wearing it, I got off the train. But even before, a week before I was in Barcelona, they had cops with dogs on the train, like giving out tickets. So is it really worth this civil rights movement right now? But in New York, it was pretty bad. Probably the same as London.
Yeah, London's insane. I was there when you reacted to the video. I was there a few weeks ago, and there's actually no normal people left. Like, I feel like Miami is the only spot, Miami and Dubai is the only spot where there's normal people. Everybody's either, and I'm going to get like attacked for saying this, but everybody's either super fat or like, you know, changing their genders or just, you know, piercings everywhere, tattoos all over there. Everybody looks weird. Have you noticed that? Everybody just looks weird these days.
Yeah, and it's funny that they get piercings and they dye their hair and they add gender pronouns to be unique, and then they're the same as everybody else. It's like you can look at somebody with the dyed hair and you know all their opinions. You see the septum piercing and you know they're a free spirit. You got the Ukraine flag to be a good citizen, and it's like you're just being programmed. But there's a lot of people listening right now that are upset that you said that. There's people in rural places in America, or even the Brexit people in the UK. They're like, we're not like this. Most people are. I think it's the really loud minority. Yeah, it's the people who scream the loudest and who are walking around in the streets in different in major cities. I don't think that's everybody. I still have hope that there's non-NPCs out there.
Do you have like an overall take on what happened over the last 2 years? Like, why did they lock us down for something which has like 99.9% survival rate and force us to take medicines which don't work and are now supposedly dangerous?
I'm not even sure. Can I say NWO on YouTube?
NWO?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just say it's NWO.
Okay. What is NWO? Oh, New World Order. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, say NWO.
I think they're preparing us for a new global agenda, and this was the first test. If you look at there was conferences where billionaires sat together and they started preparing. They were outlining how they were going to keep us compliant. They're starting to prepare us to have. You were talking about having a carbon footprint and how much money we can spend and how we can have woke points and a social score, and that you could see that with if you look at what's happening in China, it's pretty much what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years in the West, because all the government control that we thought was crazy happened in the West. And China right now, you can't even go on certain roads if you don't scan a QR code in the sky and show that you have a vaccine passport. That's a real thing that's happening. They are still quarantining people. They have giant tents where they're testing everybody. They are trying to keep us all as controlled as possible. They want to limit the food supply. They just ultimately want to keep us as slaves, as citizens, and the rich are going to get extremely richer. And it's easier for them to enjoy life if they keep us all as sheep and as peasants. And they realize they can do that by controlling us with fear and manipulation. And they can silence anybody who speaks out against that. So as long as everybody is controlled by fear, as long as we're canceling each other, as long as we're yelling about BLM and a bunch of bullshit, and we're yelling about race or nonsense that keep us controlled at the bottom, and we're so distracted and we don't see what's really happening, then they can do whatever they want. And the past 2 years was the first step in that new agenda.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually heard today that I think like 7 banks in New York are all testing a central bank digital currency as of today. They've partnered with the Fed and the Federal Reserve, and they're working on their programmable money, and they're going to see how far they can take it, which is absolutely insane. But let's go to the men and women topic, because I feel like this is
a lot softer than.
Well, no, but I feel like they're the same, because I feel like they're integrated.
They are. No, they are.
Because it's all about like depopulation, repelling the sexes, you know, less population, easier to control. But let's start with women, because like we spoke about earlier, you laugh at them a lot online, and it's very enjoyable. That's how I first found you. So what would you say one of the biggest problems is with women right now, young girls?
Is they want the privileges of being a woman while simultaneously wanting the privileges of being a man. And you can't have both. Men aren't out here. We know that being a man is what we're supposed to do. We don't also want to be women, but girls want to be pretty girls, and they want us to hold the door open and pay for the date, and then also be the boss, and then also be in charge, and then also get all the same right. And they want equal pay, which is, the wage gap is bullshit, but they want to have all the same equal opportunities. Like, okay, well, take out the trash. No. They'd be like, why can't I be a CEO? I'm like, okay, why can't you be a garbage man? No, it's gross and icky. You can't pick and choose. You need to understand that we have different roles and we have different, and women don't want to be seen as weak, which is the problem, is that a lot of women they're envious of male power. They are jealous of the fact that we can be in charge and we can lead, but they don't want to embrace their feminine nature while also dressing up and looking like they're a pretty girl. So I think most girls now, because of social media, are an ego battle in their head. And it's not all their fault. See, I make fun of girls a lot of time for that. And then when I have these debates, it's like, well, why am I going to be, the girls will say, well, how can I be feminine if the men that I'm around are extremely feminine? And that's true. A lot of men don't understand that they need to play their role as a man as well. And that's why these women are acting extremely masculine. The average guy cannot really put up with the average woman anymore, because all these women think that they deserve the top men because of social media. They all compare their relationships to the richest men, the most famous men, and I want that. I want a Birkin, but most guys will never be able to afford that. So we're not living in reality. We're constantly comparing. We constantly think that there's something else that we could strive for. But women are more materialistic, so they have a harder time settling. I think men, the average man, will just be happy with the hug. But women just don't know how to. As soon as they're with one of those high-level men, or women don't know how to ever step down. They don't know how to downgrade. Men are just like, they'll settle. Okay, you're fine. You can cook. Okay, come here. Mm-hmm. Women have ego that is not talked about enough, and that's why I can make so much content about it.
You said that women think they deserve more than they actually do deserve. So what kind of woman deserves, the top kind of man that we're talking about?
A woman that can balance out and inspire and be. The common answer is like you have to be the peace, but I think it's much more than that. I think you have to inspire. You need to motivate. You need to be the correct balance. You still need to have the correct ideas. You need to challenge. I don't think a lot of guys in the space talk about that enough, but a good woman can check you. A good woman is smart and knows how to give some ideas as well, how to play her role, not just as the mother or as the nurturer, but also how to be the correct person to give inspiration. I think that's a role that women overlook a lot of the time. They think that if they watch a lot of this content, they'll think that they just need to cook and they just need to be submissive and feminine. That's part of it, but there's something to challenging a man, and how if you do add that challenge, you could uplift each other.
That's
mentally.
Interesting. Because I do always hear that it's just be submissive. Like
that gets boring. Like, what are you going to talk about? I don't think that people in this space talk about that enough. Like, I would like to talk to my woman. I would like to have conversations. I would like to inspire each other, challenge each other. And I don't just want you to be an empty, airheaded maid. Mm-hmm. I want to hear what you have to say too. That matters. A lot of people misconstrue the red pill ideas as if women are just objects and everything. And I can understand why that's happened. A lot of people get in this like, I could have 20 women and they're just a lot of guys too like that. When they get to that level, they don't even want to put up with the woman. They just want to work. And then I've met some like multi-millionaires, and their girlfriends are fucking airheaded, like nothing up there. And that's fine. They're dumb and they'll be happy. They'll have a happy life. But I personally would get extremely bored with that. I wouldn't respect her after a while. Just like, this fucking dummy. What is she doing? She's just there with her apron. I can hire a maid. I could just a maid to fuck. Mm-hmm. That's it. A lot of guys will like that. And that's a form of settling, because they don't want to be challenged and they don't want to uplift themselves anymore. But I always want to keep growing, and I want to keep learning. So I value an intellectual woman. I think that's not spoken about enough.
Do you think you'll still have that opinion? And let's say in 10 years from now, say you're single 10 years from now and you're a multi-millionaire, billionaire. Do you think that'll still be your same opinion?
I hope so. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to give up on that. And I would like to watch this again. And if I went back on that, then that means to some degree I settled. If I just want a woman who's just going to be there and stroke my ego and cook, then I think I gave up on a big aspect of life that can be accessed if you're with the person that can inspire you.
That's a great answer. So what's the problem with men then today?
With a lot of the high value men and multimillionaires who they get tired with putting up with women, so they'll just get that a woman who's just there. But I think the problem with all men,
with masculinity in general, why did you?
I agree with your tweet. The biggest crime in society is how they're how they're trying to feminize men. I think like the picture that I showed you, that's a giant problem, and they want you to become that. Like I want every young man, if there's a teenager watching this, they want you to become a pasty, pale-looking nerd soy boy who has the same opinions, and they want you to be a woke nothing who thinks the gym is bad for you. They want you to take antidepressants. They want you to be weak. The face of all those people that I showed you is the face of people who will never get banned. People that they put on the trending page, people that have the biggest platforms because they never get silenced, they never get challenged. Those are people who are echoing the same matrix that's being purported by the elites. They are just puppets for the richest people, and they don't realize it. They think that they're being social justice warriors when they're really just by programming people to think nonsense. And they're all being manipulated by having a sense of moral superiority. But that's not most men. That's the internet age, and that's a lot. The problem with most men is, I guess, the balance of that, because you can go too far down the rabbit hole of being a feminine soy boy, or you could also be overly masculine to balance that out. And I think there does need to be some balance. You need to be able to tap into both. But it's tough, because if men a lot of time they realize that if you show your vulnerable side to a woman, then they'll take advantage of that. So they just want to be completely hard-hitting all the time, and that's why they don't want a woman to challenge them, because they don't want to be taken advantage of. I think the problem is trying to find that perfect balance.
Well, the reason I made the tweet that the feminization of men is the greatest crime against humanity is because I believe that without strong men, society just crumbles. What we saw over the last 2 years, I just don't think that would have happened if we had more strong men standing up and fighting. Even the men that I used to regard as strong, I saw them just like bowing down to everything that was happening. So I feel like tyranny can come when the men are weak.
You're right. You're right completely. That's why they don't want you. That's why they want you to become weaker, because that's the biggest threat, is having strong men to lead is the biggest threat to any systems of power. So yeah, I agree with you completely. I think we have a very similar worldview. There's nothing I'm going to tell you that you haven't thought or heard about. I follow your social medias.
So what's your take then on porn and video games? Because
it's the worst. It's I actively tell it's the worst thing for young men is. And that's why I tell people to use social media as a tool to make money. Use it for your own gain. Don't be used by social media. Because if you look at my Explore page, for example, I always show this in my stream. My Explore page is just straight up softcore porn. And some people say like that's what you look up. That's what they know you're interested in. They might know based on the algorithm that that's what I'm interested in. But I don't watch porn, and I actively only use social media to make money. And if I didn't, then you could easily go down that rabbit hole and scroll and then see like they'll show sex on the Explore. I could show you know what I'm talking about. Well, they'll show sex like off to the side, or
I actually don't know. Go on, open your Explore page. Let me see.
It's disgusting. And
because that's not my Explore page.
What's yours? Like a bunch of crypto?
Let me see. Can I have my phone a sec to see what my Explore page is? Because I actually don't know. About a year ago, it was just a bunch of babies, and it's not anymore. I really don't know why that's the case. Let me see. What's my Explore page? Oh, mine is. We have Andrew Tate, obviously. I have some hot men and hot women. I mean, mine's not that exciting. I mean, mine's not that exciting.
Okay, yeah, mine's not that bad either. The signal's bad in here.
Well, okay.
But I went on TikTok today because I was trying to do some market research. I don't have TikTok. I don't use TikTok, but I was trying to see like how my recent streams are doing from Rumble and how the conversion was doing well on TikTok. And then you just see the amount of like girls will be like, my morning yoga routine, and she's just lifting up her leg up in the sky, doing a split right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm telling you, what they put on the front page is Twitch, hot tub streamers. They're trying to. That's the best way to manipulate men is with these images. We're visual creatures, and porn can ruin your life. Legitimately, it's a drug, and people don't talk about it like that. Video games too could be extremely addictive, and basically those two things. And I like that you group them together because they're the same media that just really hits your dopamine and gives you a false. It makes you feel successful without doing anything. You get levels. You level up in a video game. You get the high score. In porn, you feel like you fucked a girl but you didn't do any of the work to do it. So it makes you. It gives you the success without doing any of the work, which is very detrimental to men. And porn is the worst thing ever. You need to quit doing it. It's No Nut November. What are we, like halfway through? Yeah. Stay strong. Halfway there, fellas. Keep going. Halfway there. I don't know when this is being posted.
November, maybe.
No, not December. Keep going.
And do the new year.
And 2023.
Now we're totally covered. Perfect. There's also like other dynamics between men and women, which you speak about a lot. I see on Fresh and Fit a lot. And it's kind of the supposed double standard that men can sleep with a bunch of women and that's okay, and women can't sleep with a bunch of men. That wouldn't be okay. So can you talk to me about what the difference is between men being whores and women being whores?
Well,
like, why is it not the same?
Well, first let's start and say men don't get offended by being called whores. That doesn't hurt. But if a woman, if I called you a whore, that would hurt your feelings. That would make you feel bad. But if you say like, why can't men be whores? Like, no one cares. Like, you can't slut shame a man. No guy's ever felt shame about that. The double standard is I can get 20 women pregnant, but a woman can only get pregnant once in a year. So, but I've been thinking a lot about this, and yes, it's different because a man has to earn it. A man has to get to the point where he could be with a lot of women. Women could just literally right now, you could walk outside, open up your legs, and someone will do it. You know, I can't walk outside.
That's so disgusting.
It's true.
Just open your legs and someone will do it.
Someone will be in there. In
Sounds
5 minutes,
disgusting.
there will be somebody in there. But if I walk outside with my dick, I'm going to jail. That's the difference.
Unless you're trans, by the way. Because a guy in England, by the way, he, a trans woman got up on stage and actually started playing the piano with his dick.
But
Like
he's a woman.
Yeah. No, wait. No, it's a man. It's a biological man.
It's a woman.
Wait, no, what do you mean? Oh, are you playing with me? Because
Yeah.
I'm too confused, right? I can't like what is going on here. So yeah, unless you're trans, then you have the exception. But sorry, continue.
I think that I've been trying to get closer to God and to religion. And a lot of guys need to indulge in that and be whores to get over it. A woman, I don't really think needs to do that because a woman, there's no satisfaction in being a whore. You could just do it. But a man, it's like once you get to that point where you can be with a lot of women, you need to get out of your system. But being closer to God and being a well-rounded man is not acting in, not indulging in hedonism, which is chasing hoes or with these Miami girls who like, I'm a girl bar, or like, sometimes I'll be hanging out with the girls, like, and she does OnlyFans. It's like I spent 6 hours talking to this girl. She just has nothing about her. There's no personality. So it's the point of being with the woman is starting a family, is establishing a relationship, and indulging in short-term sex or these one-night stands. It's ultimately a giant waste of time, and you're doing it to stroke your ego, I think. That's why in the past when I was really indulging in that, it wasn't that much better than sex with the same girl. But I was trying to be with a lot of women because it was like a video game. It's like a challenge. Like I did that, and I'd walk around, fucked her.
Oh,
And it would be fun for me.
Yeah.
Or like be like, yo, yeah. It would be with my guys, and it would be an ego stroke. But if you really think about how much time and how much energy and how much of investment you're spending into just nothing, because there's nothing accomplished from that. The point of sex is to procreate. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your time, and it could be much better spent.
That's interesting because I keep hearing men say, you know, your 20s, just like go through everything you can. And then only in your 30s, you should, you know, think about it a bit more.
Who says that?
I just hear it all the time.
I'm 24 and I'm ready I'm coming to terms that it's empty after a while. Like I see guys 10 years older who are doing the same thing I was doing at like 23, 22. I'm like, okay, when do you elevate? When do you get to the next step? So, but yeah, it's a very clear difference. It's a very clear difference. But men have a different learning system than women. Women, I think, inherently know that, but I think men need to go through it in order to fully understand. So I can sit here and say that it's hedonism, but all the guys who have not experienced it yet are going to want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one, especially because like with this red pilled mentality, we keep hearing you can have 20 wives, you can have as many women as you want. You don't think that would be satisfying in some way, having as many women as you want just because you can eventually, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Okay,
that sounds,
it does.
yeah, it does. But there's a better use of your time. Like that's not a very godly life, but still, imagine that the Dan Bilzerian lifestyle. It does sound appealing to a lot of guys, and I think young men need to hear that a little bit more actually because of how we're being feminized. I talk about that a lot because on the inverse, when you see all the soy boys like shaming you or saying toxic masculinity or trying to make men feel bad for trying to improve, they call it cringe if a guy's like working on himself or trying to dress better, or like the leftists will say it's cringe if you're on the grind, or like they'll make fun of hustle culture when it needs to be encouraged more. So ultimately, no, you're not going to be satisfied for the rest of your life with 20 girls in a house. They're pretty much there for you, your status and your money. They don't really care about you. But I think it's good motivation to hear that for young men. I think that it's good on the inverse of how much they're pushing simp culture and how much porn and video games. If a guy hears something like Dan Bill's here, and I'm like, bro, that sounds dope. Now I want to go get more money. Now I want to go improve myself. Now I want to start 10 businesses so I can get to that point. And if I do get to that point, or when I do get to that point, I'm going to be like, you know what? I actually don't want these 20 girls anyway. Maybe I'm good with 4.
4, really?
Settle, yeah.
Yeah, 4. You don't want 5?
No, 5's too many.
Yeah, 4 is like a nice
and
okay.
That's a good amount. Yeah, 4.
Understood. So with all these bannings going on in social media, I know you obviously moved to Rumble. What do you think the future of content creation is? Are we all just going to get banned and then we move to Rumble? I mean, do we trust Rumble that they're not going to, be bought out by Klaus Schwab,
I hope not. I don't think so. I know Chris Pavlowski, I think his name is. He's a nice guy. I've spent time with him. It's weird, like being out with him. I can't imagine ever hanging out with Susan from YouTube. So I hope he doesn't sell out. I really think he believes in the message. I really think he believes in free speech. And so if he compromises that, the basis of the website was free speech. You know what's funny? I was thinking about this yesterday because I'm new to Rumble and I've been looking at all the front page. It's pretty much all political conservatives. It's all Republicans. Live streaming does really well. And I was thinking like, what's the leftist website?
Everything else.
It's just YouTube. It's just every single platform. They're never going to have to go to another website because they're just allowed. That's the page for them. The right people who don't believe in the agenda that's being pushed, they have to go to alternative platforms. So my method for going forward is capitalizing off of short form content. Gen Z's attention span is absolutely destroyed. And I know how to get that because I have a bad attention span. I'm energetic. I'm loud. I know how to capture people's attention in 5 seconds. So like when I react to your NPC videos, this is a viral clip anytime. You react to an NPC like, why don't you like Andrew Tate? They go, buh, 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 buh. I'm like, fall out of my chair, scream, stuff like that. That's always going to capture it. People are going to go, wow, cool. When you're scrolling, that's what's going to capture your attention. So I know how to do that. What I have to do is funnel that short attention span people into my stream and into my website. So for the future, advice for people who want to speak about similar subjects, not everybody wants to do this, but this is a good method to follow. You need to figure out how to capture people's attention quickly and funnel that into long form content. I stream for 5 hours every single day. So I'm talking, but I can't just be screaming and fall out of my chair for 5 hours. I need to have something to talk about. So I get into politics, I get into relationships, I talk to different people, I interview people, I bring people on the stream, I like to learn different things, I talk to the chat, I watch different videos. So I have good ways to capture an audience for 5 hours, but I also know how to bring in new people. And you really need to triple down on that new people in the short form content, because if they keep banning the truth, then the leftists and the soy boys are going to keep getting promoted. But what you need to realize is those people are getting... It's so easy for them that they don't need to challenge themselves. So automatically they are boring. All the people that I showed you who have made documentaries about me cannot get in a debate with me. They don't do it. They are afraid. They don't know how to. People have literally spent months making videos about me. I'll be like, let's get on a call. No, I don't want to. They're afraid of it. So if you are capable of doing that, you're already 5 steps ahead of them and you can capture an audience quicker. You could be more captivating, attention grabbing, entertaining, everything that you need in order to capture an audience. But what you're supposed to realize is, what do you do with that audience? Are you just there to be a clown? Are you just there to play video games and make money? Personally, I love entertaining. I like making people laugh, but I want to elevate and I want to inspire. I think the highest human achievement you could reach is inspiration. If you can inspire other people, that's the greatest satisfaction in life. And I think I realized that really young. It's better than money. It's better than sex or anything. If you can connect and inspire people, that's what gives me hope and gives me drive to keep going. And I've realized that seeing this shift into media and how everybody wants to get into content creation now. These crypto millionaires and these business people, these econ people, they have a lot of money, they have houses and stuff like that, and they get kind of bored after a while. And they see how the world is moving and they see how all these conversations are getting online, and they want to be a part of it, because having the money after a while, it's like, it's okay. But inspiring, connecting with people, that's a level of satisfaction that a lot of people have not realized or ever tapped into, and they want to get into that. So you have to be entertaining though. You can't just give value. You can't just like talk to people and expect them to listen. There needs to be some way to capture their attention. The reason, and I know this because when I was in school, I never wanted to listen. The teachers were boring, or the priest, for example, like when I was sitting in church, was boring, saying, droning on, just sleeping, and nothing, no disrespect to the church, but it was just really boring. So I need to be laughing. I need to be engaged in order to learn. I can't do it without it. So I know that's my most effective way of teaching.
You mentioned that in school that you thought you were like an outcast because you were bored, you weren't listening, you weren't focusing. So it's interesting. How deep do you actually think the Matrix goes beyond men and women? Because all these kids are on ADHD pills. I was. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You're on ADHD pills. I'm sure you probably don't take them anymore.
No.
Exactly. So how deep do you think it goes?
I mean, Epstein's Island was exposed and then everybody moved on to the next thing. I genuinely think there's a spiritual warfare going on. I think that the most powerful people go on islands and they do sacrificial rituals with children, genuinely. I think that they try to conjure evil to separate morality from their psyche so that they can have more power and they don't care about people. That's the reason that they're able to manipulate vast majorities of billions of people all at once, is because they don't care. They have no morality. And in order to separate empathy and morality, you need to do evil acts. And also they do these evil acts to blackmail each other. If they've all touched and ate a kid, then they all have dirt on each other and they won't expose what's really going on behind the scenes. Of course, I've never seen this. I don't have factual evidence for it. I never will. But there's been people who have tried to expose this, and they always have the same fate. You watch movies like Eyes Wide Shut, or you can see people like who try to expose it, like Julian Assange or Edward Snowden, or what was happening to Alex Jones, and they all repeatedly get silenced and they get called a crazy conspiracy theorist. They get called a treasonist. They always have the same fate, or they end up dead in a forest in Cuba. What happened to John McAfee? It's always the same fate. And we're getting to the point where it pretty much has been exposed that Jeffrey Epstein, the most rich and powerful people, were all going to an island, and then he supposedly died in prison, which everybody knows was a lie, but we all moved on. And so when I talk about this, people will call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, but then what about Epstein's island? What happened there? Why are these people all flying out there? The most rich and powerful people are all going buddy-buddy with somebody who was trafficking children. And you think that I'm just making this up when I talk about how they use evil to become more powerful? I really think it's a spiritual warfare.
Who are the people that are actually doing these bad acts versus the puppets? Because I'm unsure if somebody like Biden, for example, is a puppet. Like, to me, I think he's a puppet. Klaus Schwab, I don't know, the leader of the World Economic Forum, I don't know whether he's just a puppet.
Probably somebody else, some nameless person who has trillions of dollars behind the scenes that will never know his name. And Biden, Klaus Schwab, these people that we know about, they are puppets. They probably went there. They got blackmail on them. They have a video of them touching a kid, and now they have to do whatever the fuck they say.
Yeah.
That's what we're not going to know these people, a lot of them behind the scenes. And if we do, then they change their identity. They go to a different country. The most rich and powerful, I don't think we'll ever know or they get sacrificed. They end up dead in a prison. Supposedly they hang themselves. Anybody who makes it out of that becomes a public figure. Yeah, we won't know them.
What's your take on Sam Bankman-Fried? Do you think he's a puppet of the establishment?
Who?
Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX.
Yeah, of course. He was. I need to do more. Tell me about that, because I heard that he was. Oh, the fat dude with the curly. Yeah, the FTX guy.
Yeah, the FTX guy.
Yeah, he was a puppet. They probably got a video of him doing something, and so then he started funneling money to the Democratic Party. Yeah, they probably got a video of him doing. Did he flee to Argentina now?
No, he's in the Bahamas.
Just
tweeting
chilling?
Cryptic stuff, still not detained, not arrested. Like, he's just chilling there on his phone, tweeting rubbish.
What do you think is his fate? Is he going to end up
My take
disappearing?
is no, because I personally think that that the powers that be tried to use FTX as a way to infiltrate crypto. So they wanted to have a regulatory monopoly on FTX, therefore they control crypto, pushing all other competition out. So I feel like they funded him. I think they funded him. I think I saw one conspiracy, which was like, there's a Mr. Maxwell who, it might be Ghislaine Maxwell's father, I don't know, but he died in like the 90s or something. Nobody knows where his billions went. But then Jeffrey Epstein popped up with all these billions, and then he mysteriously dies. Oh, who's married or with the daughter of Maxwell. Ghislaine, thank you. I can't even pronounce it. Ghislaine. He then, so bear with me, Jeffrey Epstein then dies mysteriously. Where do his billions go? Well, he dies around the same time that Sam Bankman-Fried just pops up with all these billions. So now Sam Bankman-Fried has all these billions in 2019, which he supposedly made by arbitrage trading Bitcoin for 3.5 years. You don't make $9 billion in 3 years by arbitrage trading Bitcoin. So I feel like the establishment or whatever passed him the money to have him as a front and have him as like this puppet for the elites. Then donates the money. He becomes like the crypto arm for the establishment. So I feel like he's one of them. I don't think they'll, unless he speaks. So unless he calls them all out, then I think he could get Epsteined. But while he stays silent and just like disgraced, a little bit like Harvey Weinstein is silent and disgraced, then I think he'll be fine. And otherwise, yeah, I think he'll be fine. Like Bernie Madoff was like arrested the next day when he took everybody's money. Sam Bankman-Fried just chilling, tweeting in the Bahamas. Like I don't think he's gonna get the justice that he deserves because he's a puppet of the system. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't know. What did your dad say about this in the end, by the way?
He said he was just showing surface level stuff and saying that I need to do more research on it. And he was just like sending me articles and showing me how they were funneling money into the Democratic Party.
Yeah, so Sam Bankman-Fried was the second largest donor to President Biden's political campaign. And then FTX set up a bit on the website where you can then send money to Ukraine. Turns out, so wait, Sam Bankman-Fried sent money to Biden. Biden's administration then sent money to Ukraine, billions of dollars. Ukraine then sent money to FTX.
So it's a circle
of money laundering and all this stuff. So that's why I think Sam Bankman-Fried is part of it. Like I think he's part of the establishment and he's not going to get the justice that he deserves.
But look what happened to Epstein, though. As soon as they become a public figure, they need to make an example of it. It's possible he could have that fate, but I don't know. When like it becomes like sexual, I think that's when the establishment have to detach themselves. Something. Yeah, when like there's like pedophiles. Weren't they all like in a room of 10 people? They had like a 10-person polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing was incestuous. So the founder of Alameda Research, which is the CEO of Alameda Research, which is the sister company of FTX, was his ex-girlfriend, whose father taught at MIT, where the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, was a professor at MIT, where Sam Bankman-Fried went to university. It's all incestuous. They all dated someone, bit like the Maxwells, like it's disgusting. And yeah, I think it's better just to like buy Bitcoin and like join Rumble and like leave the Matrix, you know?
How much do you, I don't want to say, but do you think it's going to dip lower? I've been talking to people like that. Is it going to go lower than 16?
I think right now we are at such a temperamental
it's a weird time. It could go down to 5 maybe.
Yeah, if there's another black swan event, like I think Bitcoin could have bottomed at around 17.5 if FTX didn't happen. But there's so much dodgy dealings happening behind the scenes that if more stuff comes to light, then I see no reason why it won't go lower. I mean, weird stuff is happening with crypto.com. The CEO came out and said they accidentally sent billions of dollars of customer funds to gate.io, which is another exchange. What do you mean you accidentally sent billions of dollars of customer funds? And then you see gate.io sending the money back. You can look at it on the blockchain. It's so dodgy. So if another exchange like fucks up, then yeah, I think we're going much lower. But I don't really care. I think getting in at this price is such a steal. Like this time last year, Bitcoin was at $69,000. People would like pray and wish for these prices. I know my brother's extremely happy that Bitcoin's very cheap.
It's on sale.
Yeah, it's massively on sale.
Buy one, get one free.
Literally. Are you holding much crypto?
Yeah, I have an equal amount in Ethereum, but I wonder, you always talk about Bitcoin. Is Ethereum some bot shit? What is that?
Okay, so this is my take as well. So I think Ethereum is World Economic Forum. Right. So, okay, several things going on here. Vitalik, who's the founder of Ethereum, is being really apologetic about Sam Bankman-Fried. Like, he's not going hard on him. Sam Bankman-Fried's tweets, I'm sorry, Vitalik retweets it. He's like being like, we should all be a bit kinder to him. No, the guy just stole billions from people. So Vitalik is like being very sympathetic to these people. They've also just moved from proof of work to proof of stake. I don't know how technical you are, but
yeah.
Okay, so you know what that is? Yeah, okay. So proof of stake is like really championed championed by those at the World Economic Forum because of the energy crisis. You know, World Economic Forum is bad. Sorry, proof of work is bad because of the energy crisis, because, you know, the world is collapsing because climate change and all that rubbish.
Bullshit.
Right. So if the World Economic Forum are excited about proof of stake, then I'm not excited about proof of stake. For me, like, that's just a red flag at this point. Nothing that has come out of what they've done or what they've said is good, is legitimate, makes sense. Like everything that surrounds them is just dark and bad in my opinion. And then also proof of stake is far more centralized, just because, you know, if you own more, if you have a bigger stake, then you have more control. And that's like the current system that we're in now. The more money you have, the more power you have.
So you have no Ethereum?
No, I hold some, but I'm going to sell it in the bull market. Like, it will go back up for sure, because like the entire internet is being built on Ethereum right now. But that's bad because they're now rebuilding society on the blockchain. But which one? Ethereum, which the World Economic Forum probably having massive stake in and will control.
So it's good to have both though. I'm equal.
Yeah.
I have about equal in both.
From like a financial like investment standpoint, yeah. But like the idea is like you want to opt out, like, because if they don't have power, if they don't have money, and they don't have their own money, they have yours. And so if you remove your money from the banks and you hold it in a system which is completely outside of their control, they have nothing. They can't do anything. How are you going to fund wars? They take your money, they print more. They take your money and they fund wars. Well, what if you can't print more money? What if they don't have our money to fund the wars?
What's preventing them from another FTX scandal?
That's a good question. I mean, nothing really. It's us as individuals. We have to not give them the money, which means not leaving your money on a centralized exchange like FTX.
Can we really win that? Because they can just print more money. They have complete control over currency. If they wanted to beat the citizens, then a couple trillionaires on an island could all just print some more money and invest it in Bitcoin and then do whale deals behind the scenes and beat all the normies who are trying to win.
Basically. But that's why we tell everyone to buy Bitcoin. Shut up. Oh my God.
Talk about that.
Fuck.
Talk about that.
Fuck. BlockFi just went bankrupt as we speak. Shit. Do you know who BlockFi are?
No.
BlockFi is a centralized exchange that went bankrupt. Oh my God, this is so bad. Shit. I thought we were going to get... Okay, so BlockFi is a centralized exchange that were about to go bankrupt when Celsius went bankrupt, but FTX
just
bought
now?
them. Yeah, but FTX bought them, which bailed them out. But FTX have no money. And so since they've just gone bankrupt, BlockFi's just gone bankrupt. That's really sad. BlockFi, they are good people, I guess. BlockFi, people put their money on their platform, and
So is that good for us or bad for us?
I don't even know. It's bad for the crypto space. It's a centralized exchange, which is centralized platform that gives you like 6% interest on your Bitcoin, and it's just gone bankrupt, which basically means that people need to remove their money from centralized entities, and they need to put their money in cold storage. That's the goal here. So you're buying up, you're buying crypto.
Yep, investing more it's pretty cheap right now, so I'm gonna keep putting more money. You've just sold me on more Bitcoin. I'm gonna buy a whole coin as soon as I leave this podcast.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll help you do it.
Another
That's
one.
amazing. Whole coin.
I have a couple.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Don't say that out loud. Just pretend you don't have any.
I don't have any.
There you go.
I have none.
Yeah, you dropped your keys in the water. That's in the ocean. That's the joke.
Yes, that.
Yes. Yeah. It's serious. Okay.
Wait, why can't you say that? Someone's gonna rob you?
Because I'm gonna like pick my words really. Yes, there's that, but also like as a sovereign individual, those at the top have no right to know what you own, and therefore you own nothing because you had crypto, but then you lost the keys and they're at the bottom of the ocean with all your guns. You don't own guns either. They're at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have none.
Exactly. You have nothing.
I'm broke.
Yeah, and you're like triple jabbed and everything.
Crypto is for hustle culture, toxic masculinity people.
No, we don't do that, despite everything we just said. So just finally then, what kind of advice would you give to...
Do you think I'm crazy for that whole spiritual warfare, demon eating children thing?
Okay, great question.
We went right to crypto from demons. I'm
okay.
wondering what your response on that is.
Okay, so like, I'm so open-minded. Like I'm down for it. You know, I think it's possible. I don't really think it goes as far as like eating children, and like sacrificing children. I definitely think there's like a weird pedophile ring going on, but I think that's as far as it goes. I think the eating children thing's a bit far-fetched. But the reason I mentioned David Icke is because he thinks that, and he thinks that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, David Icke thinks that, and he thinks everything that happened in Eyes Wide Shut is legitimate. It's fully real.
He died right after that movie was released.
Yeah, that's true. And David Icke also says that the people controlling us are non-human entities. So I don't know if this is something which you're
Lizard
aware
people.
of. Yeah, he's the lizard man.
Okay, but how do they become lizards? Are they just not human?
Okay, I'll explain it because I actually like.
I think they become inhuman by doing these rituals and doing stuff that makes them not human. If you eat a kid, then you're not a person anymore. Your soul is gone.
Right. Metaphorically speaking, you're not human anymore.
That's a good way to separate your soul from your body, is doing the most evil act of all time, and then you have absolutely no morality, which makes you not human. What makes us human is our souls, is what we think, and empathy and connecting with people. If you can separate that, then you're a lizard.
Okay, so that's true, but that's not David's take.
He said they're actually lizards.
Yeah. So basically, this is what he says. So
Okay.
I actually sat with him and like listened, and I really tried to take
On this
in
podcast,
everything.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah. Oh, it got taken down on YouTube, but it's on
Mom,
Rumble.
look, see, they
It's
took
on
it down.
Rumble.
Why they gotta take it down?
Because
Because
brother,
Susan's a lizard.
No, it's my
Susan's a
brother.
lizard. Get off YouTube. Susan, we know. Blink sideways, Susan. Sorry, what?
No, it's my brother's fault actually.
Oh.
I made the title super low key, like the global agenda explained, like really, really chill. Gideon's like trying to up my game, goes onto my YouTube, and then he's like, the real truth about who runs the world exposed, David Icke, and I was like, 24 hours later.
If it's bullshit, why did they remove it?
Say that again?
Why would they remove it?
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
so much misinformation that they let fly. There's only certain types of misinformation that they continuously remove.
Yeah.
I want to hear this lizard take.
Let me tell you. Okay, fine. So basically, he says, firstly, to consider that humans are the only species alive in this entire universe would be really sort of like human-centric and like egocentric, right?
Ignorant.
And ignorant, yeah, but it would be very like self-absorbed to think that we were the only things on this universe. Okay, agree. That makes sense. I do believe there are like aliens out there. So then he says, okay, now also consider the fact that when we see light, like when we see, we don't see everything that's actually out there. Like, you don't see music waves, you don't see Bluetooth waves, you don't see radio waves, all these different things, like you don't see them. We only see a certain amount of things. And there are like colors that we can't even see.
He talks about cats, how they look around and they see different things than us.
No, but that's true.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the point. Like we can't see everything.
All right.
So now he says, okay, so now consider that these aliens that are like far away are actually like a little bit nearer, and actually they're here. And the shape shifting is them going between light. It's like 1 minute you see them, 1 minute you don't. It's like you see it and you don't, because it's like they're changing form. They're moving from like being able to be seen in the human spectrum of light versus like whether like a dog or a cat could see them. Like, when like cats and dogs are like barking or meowing at like nothing. It's like because they can see something.
And the cat's like pawing
At nothing.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like a ghost or a spirit there that they can see. That's kind of like the idea. So instead of them being in another dimension, they're actually here physically with us.
Okay.
And they move between dimensions.
Right.
That's why we see them and we don't see them. So
Okay.
he says that these people are non-human entities. Maybe lizards, I don't know, but they're non-human entities.
Oh,
And
he didn't say lizard specifically.
his thing is lizards, but he was pretty low key on my podcast, and like he kind of like pulled it back a bit. He didn't mention lizards.
Okay.
He was, I swear, I felt like he was like trying to like distance himself from the lizard thing, but I don't know. He says these people around the world, they do the sacrifices.
No,
They're
that
really
makes sense
evil.
because there's certain. It's I sound crazy when I talk about these rituals and stuff like that, but my dad's from Haiti, and there are voodoo, for example. The witchcraft is real. Like zombies, for example. The idea of zombies came from Haiti. The original word is called zobe, and they had potions and they had spells that they would give to people so that they would work for 24 hours straight. They just be in a corner, just working, and like pitch black at night. You see people working in the field. They can't even. There's no light, and they're still farming. So voodoo is 100% real. If you ask anybody from Haiti or Santeria, and these Caribbean islands where they practice witchcraft, they can possess people. Or some people, I've like talked to people like they shook hands with somebody else, and you can their spirit or something. So maybe it's not lizard people, but that summoning and possessing your soul,
Yeah.
owning is a real thing. You can conjure evil, and there's a lot of people that have experience with it. I personally haven't had any, but I know anybody from Haiti in the comment section that this shit is real. So maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't know if they're different beings, but that goes to my theory that you can separate your soul from your body and you could become an evil entity that doesn't care if you do witchcraft. If you practice rituals, you practice satanic rituals, which voodoo is and which the pedophiles going on the island are doing.
This sort of reminds me, years ago, I don't know if you've ever done it, but years ago I did the Ouija board. Have you ever done that?
No, don't do satanic shit.
I did it years ago when I was like 16.
Are you one of them?
No, but I did it because my friend's grandfather used to do it. And we were like at we were in Spain at their house, and we just did it.
Why do white people do that? I've never understood that. You
I
guys
don't
just like want
know.
to get
It was
demons in
like-
your life for fun. You guys are so bored.
I was watching the grandfather and the girlfriend who looked like Marilyn Monroe, actually, like an old Marilyn Monroe, and because that's how she based herself. Anyway, when you took your finger off the glass, you had to be like, rest in peace, something, 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 so that the spirit stayed in the thing. It was actually like the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Like, I swear to God, it was legitimately real. Like, stuff moved, and yeah. Yeah, don't do it. I wouldn't recommend. Don't mess with it. Don't play with that stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't do it again.
There's a lot of witchcraft, like psychics. Have you ever spoken to a psychic? Those, they can really, like how they do it in the horror movies. They can. I've talked to them one time, and they knew a lot of stuff about me that nobody knows, and I'm like, you didn't just read the palms of my hands, or astrology. I'm
not into astrology.
That's all these girls. That's why they make no sense. They believe in witchcraft. They believe in the stars, and their personalities align with their chakras, and they got crystals.
And they could do some shit.
Bro, it's low-key witchcraft. All these girls are a little bit possessed. That's why they're so easy to predict. They don't even realize that they've been summoned to think that witchcraft is trendy, quirky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they've glorified it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what made me believe in God. That's what made me try to turn to religion and live a holier life that I'm trying to strive to, because if all this evil is running the world, and God must be out there.
Are you Christian?
I grew up Catholic, but I'm leaning more towards Islam now.
Everyone is. Why?
I don't know. I've always resonated with it. Like, ever since I was reading Malcolm X as a little kid. Actually, that's what red pilled me a lot early on, was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. And then I got really into stand-up comedians. Like I told you, and Dave Chappelle, he turned to Islam, and I resonate with him. And I don't know. I have a big Islamic audience. They seem to align with me. And the people that I work with are all Muslim. I don't know. It seems just, it speaks to me in a way. I wanted to join the Nation of Islam when I was a kid because of Malcolm X, but apparently it's a cult. It makes no sense. But that's just what speaks to me the most. I don't know. I never fully resonated with Christianity to that level. I couldn't get on board with it.
The thing is, I think they're all pretty similar. Like when you
they're just different variations of the same book and the same ideas. I know.
Yeah.
But the culture around it, I do appreciate.
Yeah, my best friend's actually Muslim, and I think I'm Jewish, and I think that's why we like get on so well.
Because you disagree?
Because we agree on pretty much everything. No, we agree.
Well, Jews and Muslims have a lot of beef.
But we don't really. I feel like but if you move out like the politics aside, get Israel and Palestine, move that away.
The ideology is the same?
Of course it's the same.
Yeah, it is. It's like, different variations of the same
like,
book.
We both work in, bless you, we both work in crypto, and you know, we're like Judaism, and I'm Jewish, she's Muslim. We come from like the same background, like family values, you know, like forget all this like weird promiscuity and all this stuff. Like we can't like, you know, respecting your father, loving your parents, like having a close relationship with your siblings, like all this stuff comes from like religious foundations. So, and I feel like everyone's a Christian now. I saw Tate say that, and it's true. Like everyone's a Christian and doing like absurd, promiscuous things. So it's like,
if you look at Halloween, the amount of people dressing up as nuns or like Jesus variations and stuff like that. Imagine dressing up as Muhammad for Halloween.
Yeah, you don't do that. You get your head chopped off.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So no, I think all these religions are very similar if you abide by them like properly, without the whole Western secular values and. Yeah, not the religion that's been infiltrated by all this westernization and stuff like that.
Eventually. I have a lot of people in my stream, especially after Ye started talking about Jewish people. I have a lot of, especially when people go down this conspiracy rabbit hole, there's a lot of people that, bro, in my chat, I've been having to moderate it a lot because Rumble's pro free speech. I have always had people typing in all caps like about Jews and about
Jews run the world, Jews.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to steer them away from that.
Yeah, here's my take. I feel like I totally, like I said, I'm very aware of reality. I'm not gonna like pretend that I don't see what's happening. Yeah, there's a lot of Jewish people in powerful positions, mainly across America. Jews don't really have this kind of influence, by the way, in like England and stuff like that. It's mainly in America. And I think that they are in powerful positions. But to say that it's Jews that run the world, I think is so surface level and so ignorant. I think that it's the powers at the top, and I think those people at the top are anything. They're Jews, Muslims, Christians. I don't even think they have a religion.
Even the majority of the bank owners are Irish. I saw it's not even, most of them aren't Jewish. And what people misconstrue when they go down the conspiracy rabbit hole is they think that it's something with Judaism in its core, which it's not true. Not. It's just that they work together. And so there's a lot of people at the top that have a lot of money because they give each other layups and they give each other deals and stuff like that back and forth. And I think that the most rich Jews have bonded together from the trauma of the Holocaust, a mistake that other minority groups haven't capitalized on. Black people should be able to work together more since slavery and like bond together. Like look what they did to us. But instead, black people will quickly shoot each other and work against each other and operate based off of ego, something that, and someone's going to clip that up and make me look bad. But Jews don't shoot each other. That, that's true. In
Israel, they do.
They do?
Yeah, which is wild.
In America, at least. In America.
Yeah. So outside of Israel.
Jews and black people are both foreigners in America. But black people are the ones at a dice game getting an argument and then trying to get in an ego battle or calling each other broke or calling each other or trying to one-up each other to see I'm better than you. And it's a system of capitalism and materialism that has made people think like that. But Jews think like, let's work together to get out of this. Like we don't want what happened in the 30s to happen again. So we're going to go help each other out. And that's not the same thing. Asians are good at doing that, but black people, Spanish people have not used that same system. And I think we should emulate that.
Yeah, I saw you say that on TikTok. I think you say it perfectly. I wish Kanye West would be more eloquent about his Jewish.
I had a good Jew take?
Yeah, I think you have a good Jew take. Yeah,
oh,
as a Jew, I approve. You have a good Jew take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Kanye West does at all. Yeah, kind of comes across kind of badly.
He didn't. What do you say that was that bad? He said,
he says Jews run the world. Like he said it, and it's like I'm not offended. It's cool, but like it's just not good, because people keep saying to me, and I think it's really annoying, people keep saying to me, that's a positive stereotype. I'm like, number one, you're not Jewish, so you can't decide whether that's a positive or negative stereotype. Number two, it's just not a positive stereotype because we're talking about run the world, therefore they are responsible for all the bad things that happen.
That was Hitler's motivation.
Yeah, Hitler's motivation.
Protocols of Elders of Zion.
Yes.
If you know what that is.
Yes. Do you want to say it? Do you want to come over? Oh no, too tired? All right, cool. Okay, yeah, that was Hitler's motivation. So you're literally like sparking more hate and more violence by saying that.
And at first I didn't believe that, and then I saw the reaction because I'm a very big Kanye supporter. I swear I think that he could have worded it better. Yeah. I understand the feeling, and he's an artist, so he operates based in feeling. So he probably felt like he was screwed over in the music industry and in the entertainment industry. So he said, "I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 on Jew," just kind of like doing a diss track. But it's like they're going to debank you. They're going to put you on a no-fly list. Be careful. So he was operating based on feeling and thinking that his intentions were good and he was just responding. He could have worded it better, but at first I didn't believe that what he said was that bad. And then I've seen the reaction basically because my chat agrees with me. And I'm like, wow. I had like some debates with people and then like a lot of them were joking, but they were like, W Hitler, W is good. And I'm like, well, you guys gotta, because if you guys end up in a school or you end up at a bank or something like that with an AR and they see that you were watching my stream, it's over. You think my Rumble's gone, everything's gone. So I've been trying to communicate and tell them what I think is the truth, because when people go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, they end up blaming Judaism a lot of the time. Even the flat earthers blame round earth on Jews, and it's like...
Do they? Jews made the earth circular?
They made the lie up that the earth is circular, according to flat earthers, yeah.
Interesting. How? Why?
I don't know, man. The yarmulke's round, so they want the earth to match the hat or something. I don't know.
I love all of this stuff. I love talking about the truth behind everything. I just don't think it's like the Jews. Because if it was, I'd be in on it. And like, I freaking wish I was in on it. Like, I wish I had the money. I don't have the money. Honestly, I want my parents on an island. I should put them in a private jet, but I don't have the money. So if there's any like Jews out there that want to like let me in the club, let me know. I'll see what I can do.
I'm part Jewish too, so let me join. I got like 12%, something like that. 12% Ashkenazi, yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Woo,
let's run the world.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's close this. So, what would your final message be to young men watching? And something to do with how to save themselves from everything that's going on right now, all the propaganda, the matrix and everything.
So I would tell them to join my course, The Creativity Kit. It's thecreativitykit.com. And it's a great place to network. And a lot of people have actually got jobs and have made a lot of money from that. I was talking to somebody late last night and he started making $5,000 a month from clients that he met and through networking from the Creativity Kit. So I outlined a course about how to make money online, how to become a content creator behind the scenes. If you want to edit, if you want to start an online business, if you're a software engineer and you want to start making content to funnel people into your website, that's the place to go. I've outlined a course on that, but I understand that a lot of people consider that a scam. Like, this information's free, which is true. You can find that information elsewhere. But what I've built is a great Discord community and a great place to network and meet like-minded people, because everybody that I've met that I work with, I've met with online. I saw your videos, I saw your content. Everybody that I work with, my editors, the tatebrothers, everything like that, have been through content creation. And a lot of people don't have access to that. So what that gets you is $50 a month is access to a community where you can find ways to make money online right now. And people are starting to make testimonials. They were thanking me last night. I was glad to see that, because a lot of people are quick to call it a pyramid scheme because there's affiliate marketing. They call it a scam because the information is free. But what you need to do, young man, is you need to start making money right now. And everybody understands that the best way to make money is through an online business, is through content creation, is through the internet, because you can do it anywhere. You're free. You can use the internet anywhere. You're not locked down at any place. And what they tried to do the past 2 years was to keep you located in one spot, quarantine, shut up, lockdown, you can't fly. So if you can make money mobile, then you're good. So you need to get rich right now and diversify your income. Make sure your money's in different places because they're freezing your bank account. Get as rich as possible. And also be careful about how red-pilled you really get, because you don't want your platforms taken away before you make money.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks. Guys, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and we will see you all next week.